Hey, Jason, it's good to see you again.
Heck yeah, Paul, how's it going?
It's going really well. I'm having another awesome day. Always appreciate awesome days.
I would expect nothing less. Fantastic. This is fun. I'm excited to have this conversation because, as you and I were talking about the confidence and clarity system that you have, and you were describing kind of the process that you take people through when they're interested and you have a call with them. And we had this, idea of, like I really need to create a video around this to just explain this and put this in front of people. And we both thought, what a fantastic dynamic it would be to kind of have a conversation about it instead of just presentation mode and there you go. And so for the audience watching here, that's just to give you a little context of kind of what the dynamic is here, because I get to be you, audience member, and kind of ask those questions, those clarifying questions as they come up. So I'm excited to have this conversation, and I know a little bit about the system. I think I just think it's phenomenal. But before we even get into it, I'd love to know, who's this even for? Who should be watching this right now?
Well, first of all, thank you, Jason. I really appreciate the opportunity to share information on the confidence and clarity system with you, because I always do a little bit better when there's an audience. I love being on stage, and it puts a little bit more energy and excitement and happiness into my life when I have the opportunity to talk and work with others. I have a presentation, as you know, so I'm going to just go through that very quickly here. So this is my confidence and clarity system. I created this system after having worked with hundreds of business owners over the last 22 years as a business coach and consultant and personal coach. This system is for those startups who are looking to get off to a good start, or small business owners who might be struggling with their business in some way, or small business owners who are rapidly growing, which is a different kind of struggle, or just small business owners who are just going along pretty smoothly, but they just want to polish the business. They want to work a little bit more efficiently. A little background on me. For the first 30 years of my career, I was a high-tech professional. I started programming computers in 1970 when not every company had a computer. We certainly didn't have one in our pockets all the time. I was a CIO and a systems analyst and a VP of professional services. I ran a $20 million business unit for a very large IT company. I became a small business consultant in 2002. And as I said, I've worked with hundreds of businesses from startups to $30 million in revenues, and I've trained thousands more. I've got a wide variety of services that I employ whenever I help business owners in the ways that they need to be helped. I do strategic planning. Sometimes we do offsites with companies for 2 or 3 days to make sure the entire executive team is together and knows exactly where the company wants to go, what they want to achieve, and what their roles and responsibilities are. I've written 80 to 120 business plans. I've totally lost track of how many of those I've done. I love to do financial modeling, which is month by month income statement, cash flow, and balance sheet for typically 3 years, sometimes 5 years. And I oftentimes assist with funding support. When I first started out, I was mostly a strategist and a consultant, but then I found out that my clients really needed help in executing the plans that I helped them create. So I became a coach, both a professional coach and a personal coach. And when I interact with companies, most of the time, and especially for young companies, we start with this confidence and clarity system because it's a really good place to start. My passion is helping business owners succeed. I know that it's far more difficult to start and grow a business than most people think that it is. Most new business owners get in and then they find out that, holy mackerel, there's a whole bunch of stuff here that I didn't know that I needed to do. I just hate to see good people make bad mistakes. I had a consulting friend of mine say once that the key to being successful in business is to avoid making very expensive mistakes. And everybody's going to make a $5,000 mistake or a $10,000 mistake. The key is to not make very many of those, because it really takes away from your financial resources and limits the probability of your success. So I created this system I call the Confidence and Clarity System. It is 5 90-minute coaching sessions. I think it's very quick and very inexpensive, and it's designed for those who are financially conservative and would rather not spend $30,000 to take that next step or even their first step in business. I am quite often the first business coach or business consultant that companies hire. And I tell you, whenever I get a check that is check number 1001, it really, it really touches me. I think that there's a real sense of moral obligation and responsibility, to help that person as much as possible when you know that you are probably one of the very first steps that they are making in business. Jason, you've been around a long time. Have you seen any of those people that say, yeah, I can help you, and it's only $30,000 or $50,000 or more for you to engage my services just to get started?
Oh yeah, and I think it's a pet peeve of both of ours. The predatory nature of some of the folks out there. Charge what you are worth. Do that, But it's also, I feel, our responsibility to gauge that client who, even if they're offering their checkbook, is this the best fit? And to be willing to say no to that if they're not in a position to spend that kind of money at the stage of business they're in. And it's very frustrating to see that.
Yeah. I have been angry more than once at somebody that said, you really need my $30,000 system to even get started. They're offering a solution that they don't even know if that's the right solution or the right fit for the client. They're just wanting to sell their stuff instead of help the people. And I'm much different than that. I really care about, everybody that I work with, and I want to help them make sure their next steps are the right steps. So this Confidence and Clarity System that I created is 5 90-minute coaching sessions. The first one's a business clarity questionnaire. The second one's a phase growth plan. The third one is a business foundation profile. The fourth one is a 90-day growth plan. And the fifth and last one is the first step financial plan, all of which is designed to give business owners the confidence and the clarity they need to move quickly forward. And I'm going to go through each one of these 5 steps very, very briefly to share a little bit more details on what the system is.
Real quick, Paul, just to make sure I'm clear on this, you mentioned each of these is a coaching call, and my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is you on a call with them going through each of these phases that you're about to kind of give us an overview of, correct?
Yeah, I think that's a real important point. So this isn't like, self-paced on your own. I don't give you the templates and give you the instructions and ask you to do all this work, by yourself. This is you on the phone with me for these 75 to 90 minutes, typically going through answering questions and me probing and getting more and more information. And I'm the scribe during all of these sessions. So you don't have to write down a thing. All you have to do is show up, with your best intentions and the knowledge that you have. And I, essentially do all the work with you and for you to collect the information that you need to establish a really good foundation for moving forward in your business.
Oh, fantastic.
And that first step is the business clarity questionnaire. The intention of this is to provide clarity on the business that is being created and documenting what the current status is. I ask 29 questions in 9 different categories in every area of your business. It serves to create a great one-pager, and a lot of businesses need a one-pager to give to a potential funder, a bank, or an investor, or a partner in their business in some way. And as you mentioned earlier, it's really the discussion that's important. During each one of these things, I'm drawing information out of you, but at the same time, I'm giving you my best advice. That best advice from 22 years as a business consultant and a total of, nearly 60 years, working in business in some way or the other.
That's an important distinction here, this dialogue that happens on this call, because yes, you're the scribe, you're asking questions and taking down their answers, but you really are, providing this guidance along the way, which I think is an important distinction too, that you're not just like, okay, tell me this. There's some back and forth, and their business is really going to benefit from that interaction on there.
Amen to that. Well, and of course, that's what I enjoy is sharing what I've learned over these decades with other people to help them move forward confidently without making a lot of the mistakes that I personally have made or I've seen other people make. So the second of the 5 sessions is the phase growth plan. That's where we take a look at your future and define your mid-range goals and growth plans. It typically covers the next 18 to 24 months of your business. And this is where we begin to work together to tell the story about how your business is going to grow. Each business owner essentially gets to create their own story. It gets to write their own script about what products and services they're going to offer, what markets they're going to serve, how they're going to grow their business, who they're going to hire, all that stuff. And this is where we begin to document your plans to grow your business over the next 18 to 24 months. Once we have done that, we move on to a business foundation profile, which is a classic gap analysis. We take a look at where you are relative to the business that you want to create and figure out what it is, what the gaps are, what are the missing pieces. The visual presentation of this gap analysis is very unique to me. I created it when I wrote my book, The Foundation Factor, in 2004. I don't think I've ever seen anybody else do this. But once we have this session, I create what's called the business foundation profile. And this is a typical profile. And what you see here is a typical business owner that's really good at customer relations, and they've got some great ideas about what products and services they might offer. They're usually pretty good at leadership and a little bit good at ops and maybe financial management, but perhaps not so good at sales. And most business owners, first-time business owners, are really not very good at marketing at all because they haven't had any experience in marketing. With most small businesses, marketing is kind of a cloistered operation or even outsourced to a third-party firm. So you can be a director of some other area of the business and not know a thing about what's going on in marketing. Engineers have a typically different profile. Engineers are really good at product development. Some of them are really good at customer service and some not. Typically, they're good at the numbers and the organization. They might be good at the numbers and the KPIs associated with marketing campaigns, but they're usually not gifted in sales at all. Those who are gifted in sales, like a typical sales professional, are really good at customer service and product development. They know what the customers want. They love to do sales. They're decent at leadership and marketing, but they're really not very clerically gifted at all. And they typically are very poor when it comes to financial management and financial planning. When I create these profiles, I see some companies that are weak in all kinds of areas. I've had people want to start a business, who are 20 years old and they've never been in business before. They don't have any sales experience. They just got an idea and they got maybe a little bit of education and a little bit of experience, but they really don't have any idea what they're getting into. And I've done this same package, the same process with companies who've been around a long, long time and are really strong in all areas of the business, but they just need a little shoring up in a couple of different areas to make those areas as excellent as other areas of business. So the big question for most of my clients is, which one of these profiles fits you? Where are your strong points? And where are your weak points in your business? And every company has them. I've never talked to a company yet, and I've done this, a couple of hundred times, who is as strong as they want to be in every area of their business.
Step 2 and 3 both are so key for any business, especially starting out, when you have to make some of these decisions and you don't have much to base it on. It's great to have guidance from you to kind of walk them through that and help them develop those.
You nailed it. It's one of the biggest challenges in business, as I've said many times, is that everything is broke. The big question is, what do we fix first? Do we fix our product development? Do we fix our marketing? Do we fix our sales? Do I fix our leadership? Do we fix our operations? Which one of these areas of the business merits the most attention at this particular time, giving our limited resources that we have to apply to this. So this sequence, defining the sequence about what we're going to do first and what we're going to do next is critical to success. And now that we've been through the first 3 sessions, the clarity questionnaire, the phase growth plan, and the business foundation profile, it's time to start answering those questions, which we do in session 4 with the 90-day growth plan. This is really where we start working on the tactical project plan to grow the business. We define the top 3 to 5 goals, the things that the business owner wants to accomplish in the next 90 days and the action steps required to achieve them. And we focus on plugging those gaps that we discovered and shoring up those weak areas in the business that we discovered in the business foundation profile session. And we do this in every single area of your business. For some companies, the right first step is to begin to sell something that they haven't even created yet. For other companies, the right thing to do is to focus, some amount of time on product development and create that minimum viable product. For some companies, the right thing to do is to create a one-pager and go raise $25,000, $50,000, $100,000 in capital. It varies tremendously from business to business, and it's important for every business owner to think things through. And as I say, make sure that the next steps are the right steps. The last of the 5 sessions that we do is the first step financial model. And that is looking at revenue and expense projections over the next 9 to 12 months, given the planning that we have done in the previous session, and really determine the financial implications of the plans that we have created. The focus is on cash flow, especially on identifying the sources of required funding, revenues, or other growth capital, and so we can make some really good decisions. Quite often, by the way, once we do the first step financial model, we go back and make some adjustments to the plans that we have created once we figure out how much things are really going to cost and how much money we really have. So this is a good kind of adjustment point, and we go back and adjust things when we do that. And that's the Confidence and Clarity System. These 5 90-minute coaching sessions, all designed to give business owners the confidence and the clarity that they need to move forward in their business. Does that all make sense to you, Jason?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, this is great. This is powerful.
And by the way, after we complete the 90-minute sessions in the Confidence and Clarity package, there's always the execution and follow-up. I strongly recommend that the CEOs share this 90-day growth plan with everybody it's on their team in the context of the weekly staff meeting, so that everybody knows what their roles and responsibilities are for the company to meet their goals and objectives. I also suggest a replan and a review every 90 days. With a lot of companies, I come back and visit them every 30 days, and we look at what they were able to accomplish in the last 30 days and make adjustments to the financial projections going forward, make adjustments to the current 90-day plan, etc. And in those cases, sometimes we want to do a replan every 90 days, and sometimes we do a 90-day plan, because there's a whole bunch to be learned in seeing how the owners are able to actually execute the plan, achieve the goals, and hit the numbers. There are some business owners out there that want to set reasonable goals and then hit every single one of them because that empowers them and excites them to know that they have met their goals. There's other business owners that like to set very unreasonable goals and try to get as close to them as they can because they are excited and empowered by getting close to making a outrageous, a big, as they say, BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goal. That's the Confidence and Clarity System. Jason, your thoughts? Any questions, discussion points?
When you talked about encouraging CEOs to share that 90-day plan with the organization, do you kind of help them with that roadmap part of it a little bit too? As silly as it sounds, maybe like to help. How do I share this, right? Is there a specific rollout to sharing it, or who needs to see that?
You bet. Well, I'm happy to offer whatever advice they need. Some of my clients actually bring me on board as a fractional COO or CFO. and I continue to work with the executives and even members of the team, for weeks or months or even longer than that. So I'm open to doing that. Because I not only enjoy making plans, I enjoy executing plans. I enjoy helping people achieve their goals as much as I do in helping them define their goals in the first place. So yeah, I try to provide any assistance they want. They don't have to hire me. It's not a very expensive program at all. But I'm there if they need me to help execute the plans I help them create.
That's great. So I understand, who this is for, and certainly the calls themselves. You went through that, the 90-minute calls for each of these. How long should we expect the kind of the whole system to take? Are we doing calls every day? Is it, spread out over several weeks?
The typical is 3 to 4 weeks. If clients are really in a hurry, we do 2 or even 3 calls a week, which means we could get through the whole system in a couple of weeks. I had one client once who called me up on a Thursday morning and said, I got an important meeting with an investor on Saturday, and I need to have something to share with them. I need to be able to tell the story about how I'm going to use their investment dollars, and how I'm going to grow this business and the vision of the business. And we went through all 5 90-minute sessions in a day and a half, and they had the results of all of those that they were able to show to their investor prospect, and they got it. They were impressed that they had done that level of planning and thinking through things in that very short period of time. And some people say, let's just do one 90-minute session a week, in which case it's going to take 5 or 6 weeks to complete. It's really up to the client with their schedules and my schedules and how everything works together.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. So you've alluded to this being affordable,
yeah,
right? And for folks who aren't excited at all about spending $30,000 for their first step in business. So what does this run, and how is that structured and everything?
Well, a lot of the people who sell those $30,000 systems think I ought to sell this for $30,000 as well. I get a lot of people saying, well, it's worth at least 10, and even more people say it's worth 5, but I don't want to charge that much. Let's just say that the pricing is flexible and payment plans are available. It really depends on how quickly you want to go and what your available resources are. I just want to make sure that everybody I work with gets the quality support, the advice that they need to move confidently forward in their business at a very reasonable expense.
That's great. So with the folks who are watching this, they're excited. Yes, I want the next step in this. What is that? What do they do next?
You can reach out to me at paulhoyt.com. Or paul@paulhoyt.com is a really good email address for you to reach out and have that conversation. I'm also, pretty active on Facebook and LinkedIn. It's easy to find me. If you want to have that conversation, and you've seen this and it looks like something that you're interested in, by all means, reach out. Let's talk. Let's see if it's the right thing for you.
I'm really excited for folks to see this and go through this process, because I know as a business owner how critical some of these things that are basic to business get missed, and the snowball effect from that, it's huge. You look up, 6 months, a year down the road, and if you just had some of these things in place, you'd be soaring right now. So I'm excited for folks to have this, and I've had a blast having this conversation.
Me too. Thanks so much, Jason, by the way. I really appreciate you being my audience today. As I say, I get charged up. I get excited. I get enthusiastic whenever I have an opportunity to talk to business owners and have an audience. So thanks for being my great audience.
Absolutely. You're quite welcome.
All right.